Welcome to another Jazz Matters podcast for jazz and all about jazz in the city of Atlanta. We got Von Coulter as usual, and he is the man with iHeartRadio. With Jazz Beats is the radio program that he hosts, and he does that all the time. So hey, say hey, Von.
Hey everybody, how's your Thursday morning looking? Hope everything is going well out there. And once again, we're here with another edition of Yes Jazz Matters, speaking all things jazz, the culture, and where the music is headed.
Yes,
it's a pleasure being here with you, Edwin. We're here for another show, my friend.
Yes, we are, and we got a young musician here that I met about a year ago. It may have been a little bit longer. His name is Zach Wilson. And Zach's in with us now, plugged in. So Zach, say hello to everybody.
How's it going, people?
All right, good deal. Good to see you, bro.
Right.
Yes, sir, you too.
And Zach, first thing I need to ask you is for you to give us a little information about yourself. Let us know, where you're from, and give us the whole scoop on you so we'll know exactly who you are. And then that way we can follow you from that point. Also, let us know where we can follow you at too.
Okay, cool. I started playing piano around the age of 5. I took lessons. I was classically trained by a musician by the name of Mark Mitchell in Perry, Georgia. And after that, I started taking lessons from, also like during that time, I took lessons from the music minister at my church to learn more about gospel. And then soon after that, I decided to further pursue my career in music, and I went to Kennesaw State University and majored in music performance with a concentration in jazz piano under the instruction of Tyrone Jackson.
Yeah, yes, that's interesting. You mentioned Tyrone. Me and Tyrone go back a few years,
right?
And I remember when he first got to Atlanta and everything. I was trying to help him get some things going, musically and everything. So yeah, we go back quite a few ways. And Tyrone's a great piano player. He's a great musician. He's doing some production work right now, I believe, with another old friend of mine up in Maryland, I believe. But I haven't seen Tyrone in a while, and I will have him on to do one of these podcasts because he's got a lot to say. And he's been doing a lot of work. But as far as all that goes, what inspired you, Zach, to pursue the jazz, genre? Simply because I know Mark also, and I knew Mark when he was a baby too. So just let me know, what was your influences other than that?
Well, I always growing up, I would always be introduced to a bunch of different types of music, like R&B, even rock music, and some jazz music. And I wanted to learn more about the genre. I know that there are like so many layers to it, and it can get so deep and so in detailed. And like, I wanted to get an official education, and I wanted to navigate the genre as best as I could and get a formal education in that. And I saw that KSU was a good program for that, and that's what led me there to learn more about it.
Now you mentioned the layers of jazz that you know about, and what are the ones that you get most of the inspiration from? As far as, like, in other words, we call them styles, but you classify them as layers, which is that's a good term also.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. Like, the first styles of jazz that I heard of was a lot of smooth jazz and like easy listening jazz, and then I got into more of the fusion stuff, like kind of Snarky Puppy, Herbie Hancock sort of music like that. And so I wanted to get deeper into that. And so I got to school, and Tyrone was saying, yeah, well, you gotta go back. You gotta learn about Miles Davis and Oscar Peterson and all and like Red Garland and all those types of things.
Yeah, see, so Tyrone was just giving you the avenue for the platform. Is what it was.
Right. That's why I say there are a bunch of different layers to it, like jazz, Black American music. Like, it starts off with like all the way back like 1900s, Louis Armstrong, all that, and the blues and all of that. It just all kind of molds together and adds up.
Yeah, it evolved.
Right.
It's like it's one of those musics that you can say that it actually evolves. You know, like
Right.
humanity evolves.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't say that a whole lot about other music, and I'll tell you why. It's simply because in other types of music that we play here in America, the evolution stops, believe it or not, with the backbeat. Now, what that means is simply the 2 and 4. So the
Mm-hmm.
concept of the backbeat is where you get your rock and roll, or the rock that first came out, rock and roll. You get funk, soul, and all that. That's all out and basically centered around the backbeat. The
Mm-hmm.
pulse of it, of course, is the backbeat and the bass, or the drum and the bass. You see what I'm saying? Now, when in jazz, you know that there's very little kick drum used in jazz, depending on whether you're playing big band or whether you're playing quartets and stuff. So you
Uh-huh.
don't hear the emphasis on the one from the kick drum perspective or from the groove perspective. It's all
Mm-hmm.
on the top end.
Yeah.
So those different. That's why I say the music in jazz, it evolves. You know what I'm saying? Almost every decade there is something that someone is exploring, and in probably about every, let's say, 20, maybe 40 years, there will be an innovator that come
Mm-hmm.
around. The same way there was when Louis Armstrong was doing his thing. Then, of course, after that, you heard about the bop era, which was Charlie Parker. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Then you heard
Yeah.
about the cool jazz, and then you heard so every so often, the jazz evolves. The difference in the jazz now, the smooth jazz, is that
Mm-hmm.
what you've taken is a rhythm and blues base, and you promote improvisation around that,
Right.
and that's interesting, and it's a lot of fun. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun, and I can understand why the younger musicians gravitate to it, because
Mm-hmm.
now with all the electronic innovations, you know, it's pretty much the sky's the limit. So, you know, as long as that's happening, you know what I'm saying, there's always a place for it. But like Tyrone told you got to go back and study the masters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In order for you to get to that point, you know. But Vaughn, you want to weigh in on this?
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Edwin. You have to always go back to the beginnings of just about anything you want to plan on doing for the rest of your life. So the history is always going to be the foundation that you build upon. And you were talking about the other genres that have been influenced by the rhythms and syncopation of jazz. Basically they're all derivatives, you know, of that, and it's just the beauty of how it evolved into these different levels layered on top of jazz. So, you know, you talked about soul, you talk about the blues, you talk about R&B, you talk about funk. I mean, those have their beginnings on the foundation of jazz. And so, you know, it's beautiful. It's beautifully structured, and it also it's beautiful to listen to, because
Yeah.
you know, I think that a young man like Zach has an opportunity to take it to places in the words of Donald Byrd, places and spaces it's never been before. You know, so that's the magic of the music. So, you know, welcome to the fold, man. Just having you here, you know, and I know just looking at your youthfulness, it's just, you know, you're in the category with Glasper and these other young cats and you know, right now. So, you know, your future is bright.
Man,
Um,
I
I
appreciate
was
that.
just kind of looking over some stuff earlier here, and I came across this, you know, some of your videos that you've done, and you know, you're challenging yourself with some greats right now, playing, you know, stuff by Herbie Hancock
Right.
and others. So what has in, I'll put it to you this way: who are your favorites right now? What drove you to this, as far as like other musicians that inspired you?
Ah, man. So I'll tell you about the Herbie stuff. So for my I had to choose a theme for my senior recital, and I had the theme actually before I even did my junior recital, and I said I'm gonna do I said I'm gonna do a tribute to Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock is, and I'm actually in the midst of reading his book right now too. So I'm like really looking at his progression from like when he started with Miles all the way up into like kind of where he is now, and like all the progressions and innovations that he's made in jazz. And I've always seen him as kind of as a very big influence just to the music. And I just love his stylistic ways of approaching the music. And so I really like gravitated myself to him. And so he's one of my favorites. Like you mentioned, Robert Glasper. Robert Glasper really made me dive into music a little bit more, because he kind of what's the word to say? He kind of like cross genre. He kind of cross genre like with him and jazz and hip hop and jazz and R&B and jazz and soul, and like, you know, he kind of made it one big like conglomerate, like one big thing. And so those are two of my favorites. I really love Chick Corea. Stevie Wonder, just as a musician, is one of my favorites. So those are among the top. Those are in the highest category.
Right.
Great.
And all those that you named, they have basically, especially when you talk about Glasper. Well, actually, you could talk about Herbie also taking the different genres of music and putting them together and creating another ambience to the music. So the thing is, the more you get, or the more most musicians, especially the musicians in your generation, the more they get exposed to, let's say they get exposed to the newer technologies, they tend to really gravitate and make things happen with that let's say the older musicians won't even conceive of doing. You see what I'm saying? But that's good, you know.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this new wave of jazz, like making beat tapes, and it's like smooth, like lo-fi sort of jazz. People like Anomaly and Robert Rujo. I like that style too. I think there's something to be taken of it. And but I've definitely seen like the progression, even just when I started school, like that became a thing maybe within like the last 2 years.
Yeah, you know, I've seen a lot of cross referencing from a lot of musicians that had gotten into jazz, but they bringing a gospel influence to it. Yeah. And I can tell that very easily by me having to play with so many musicians before that were in gospel. And I can hear really the voicings that they're using and the transitions going from one section to another section. I say, oh, we're back here again. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you can fool some of the people some of the time. But the whole deal is like, it's great because, see, with the innovations in the instruments, you know, it gives it it's almost like a brand new aura. It's all like a brand new sound, even though I know exactly where it's based from and where it's coming at and what cross references are being used. It's fun for me to play with like young musicians like yourself, because it reminds me of me when I was young. I was a little bit crossing over things that were coming out of gospel and putting them into, you know, rhythm and blues, and taking things from rhythm and blues and putting them into jazz. And I was doing all that, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, your instructor, Mark Mitchell, I used to do that with him a lot, and he just get tickled to death because it wasn't something that you were hearing all the time on the circuit we were in. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's why we got along very well, because he knew where I could expand the music, and he knew that I wasn't afraid to do that, and it was just fun to do that kind of stuff. And I know you having a ball. You know, right? You got to be having a ball.
Yeah, the last gig I played with you, I believe, it was the last gig I played with you at the Wren's Nest, and I had a couple of songs that I chose, and I remember we didn't even rehearse it. I don't know if that was necessarily the best idea, but we did it, and I just and you know, I just like the freedom to, you know, kind of just go wherever it wants to go, and like the spontaneity. That's what I really love about the genre. So,
Yeah, you know, like rehearsal is good,
yeah,
but you know, when it comes to performance, that's another thing.
right.
In other words, you can rehearse and sound like you rehearsed, like you
Hmm.
can sound like you rehearse all the time.
Right.
But at the same time, when you're performing, you may do things that you didn't do in rehearsal.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, whether you rehearsed or not, as long as everybody's on the same page, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? There it is.
Yeah.
So, Vaughn, you got anything else to work with?
I was going to say, I mean, everything happens I mean, when it's spontaneous like that, that's when the magic takes place. That's all. I mean, it just does. I can only relate it to what it's like in the theater, where, you know, working on plays and stuff like that. And I spent, you know, pretty much my entire acting career doing it. And it's just like, you can rehearse, but sometimes, you know, what happens when you get out there and do it live? It's just not, it's never going to be like you rehearsed it. And things
Right.
happen. You know, real life takes place on stage. And so, you know, you might feel an inkling to take it to a whole nother direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you would want to be around people that say, oh, here we go, we're going this way now. So, you know, it's beautiful that that happens, and they're willing to go with you there. And the journey is fascinating, and it can be exciting, it can be scary. So that's the beauty of improv, and that's what I like about what we're doing here and talking about this music like that, because my gosh, it's almost, you can't corral it when it goes. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to
Yeah.
go with it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go with it. And then everybody finds its place back at the beginning. You know what the plot was, what the storyline is, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I
You
dig
gotta
that.
you gotta find your way back home, or you just go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, you know, it's a lot like, believe it or not, it's a lot like second line when you're doing second line music, or you know, the music out of New Orleans,
Mhm.
where you have you have a structure as far as the melody in your head, or where you're going chord changes, or
Mhm.
but at the same time, if you're doing a second line piece, the instrumentalist next to you may not do the same lines every time you get to a certain section. So you basically know where he's going to go. So there is structure, and it's not like it's not like it's structureless, but it has structure to it. And musically, you know, for a musician, it all depends on his knowledge of music as a whole, where he can go, where he can't go. Miles did that a lot, you know, with certain things that happen on stage that didn't seem, that was not rehearsed, let's say it like that, and he went with it. Just like when Herbie Hancock was playing they were playing a piece with Miles, and Herbie said that he hit the wrong voicing, which is hard to believe, but anyway, he hit the wrong chord. But the thing is, Miles didn't look at him and try to grill him right there on stage. Miles took what he did and expanded on it. You
Right.
see what
I'm
I'm
aware of
saying?
that story, and he like worked around it, and he
Yeah,
made that
he
a
make it.
thing.
Yeah, and that's what it reminds me when young musicians like yourself play, because I hear things that, you know, it's almost like it's there, but you know, they took it somewhere else and made it work. You know. But anyway, Zach, what I mean, what right now? What are you working on, man? Do you got anything in the can, or do
Oh
you have
man,
anything we can listen to?
right now this is great. Right now I'm actually fundraising so I can do a whole full-length live album next year, like an in-studio live album.
Okay.
And so right now I'm raising money. You can send a donation to me, and I will send you an exclusive EP of grooves, demos, and other tracks that I've made just on my own. But all of that money goes towards the completion of the project that I hope to record next year.
Is
And
that something you can give us now? The information to do
yeah,
that?
I can give you the information now. Just I'm trying to think. You can go to my Instagram. I'll type it into my name, and that's just the info for everything.
Oh,
You can
okay.
go to my. So I'm gonna type it in right now.
So you can get to him from Instagram.
From Instagram, if you friend me on Facebook, if you look up Zach W. Keys on YouTube, you'll see the video of me introducing everything. And so you can just send a donation to me through any money sending app. All the usernames are Zach W. Keys. You send the money to me along with your email, and I will send you the link to the exclusive EP that I've made here on my own. And all of that will be towards the completion of my live album. And with your email, I'll keep you updated through the process and how you can be more involved.
And Zach, you know, with our current situation with this pandemic and everything, and
Right.
by the way, it pretty much shut down just about all music genres, you know.
Yeah.
And so how are you faring with this, man? Because
Man.
I know how you like, you know, as musicians, we like that interaction with the crowd. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'll be honest, it wasn't the best as far as like because that's where I feed off of. I feed off of playing other people's energy. I can, like, if I'm with the right group of musicians, I can start from nothing and we can just make something happen. But I haven't done that. I did like one Facebook live stream in March when this all started, but like that's the only thing that I've done besides playing at church every Sunday still. But you know, it's just allowed me to just explore stuff like on my own, listen to more music, experiment with production and things of that nature. And and in that, it made me decide to really get up and be like, hey, I want to do this album and get started planning everything for that. So it kind of helped, but you know, I am ready to gig again. I actually, thankfully today, Thursday, when we're filming this, I have the first gig tonight that I've had in a hot minute. Wow. So that'll be fun.
Well, okay, just don't, you know, just take it easy now, you know,
mask up
and all that stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Vaughn.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. And I'm happy for you to get back out there again, man, and do some performing.
Yeah.
How do other than, you know, is Instagram the only other social media social media?
Instagram's the main thing, but
okay.
You can find me on Facebook. If you just type in Zach Wilson, you can friend me on Facebook. I'll friend you back.
Okay.
You can go to YouTube. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just type in Zach W Keys, ZACH WKEYZ. I'm on YouTube. Pretty much any platform. If you type in Zach ZACH WKEYZ, that's where I'm at.
All right, good deal, good deal. So I'm excited about you being here, man. I mean, you know, you represent the burgeoning future of this music, and it's all about preserving the history of this art form. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's people have kind of ignored it over the last, I want to say 30, 35 years. I mean, there's nothing wrong with smooth jazz. I think what the cats are doing there, they're keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
And in the know.
Smooth jazz, fusion, all the derivatives of jazz. Yeah.
Absolutely. But you know, from a historical standpoint, jazz is the culture. It is a lifestyle. And it has been since inception at the turn of the century.
Right.
And it is the only art form that has a age in time named after it. During the 1920s, it was called the Jazz Age.
Yeah.
You know, where art and theater and poetry and all of that was just fresh and beautiful back then during the Harlem Renaissance. So you know, it's imperative that cats like yourself keep that engine going, man, and keep that drive going. And you know, I can see this lasting into the next millennium with guys like you out there doing the thing. So I'm loving this conversation right now. And Edwin, keep bringing them on, man. Keep bringing them on.
Well, they keep looking for me. I don't know what it is. I must have bait on me or something, you know. but anyway, as Zach, we kind of want to see see you performing when we get a chance to, like next year when everything, I hope everything gets better,
Right.
where we can do that. And there's probably going to be a lot of people after seeing this trying to find you.
And I hope
And
so. I hope
yeah,
so. Yeah.
we definitely hope so, and we're definitely going to try to get you back and do our series, because Jazz Matters has, concert series, and
Right.
we have one every summer. Of course, this summer it kind of pretty much put everything back a day, let's say it like that. And we're going to try to get you back up there with something, that whatever you got, your new stuff or whatever you're going to do, or your new group, let's say it like that. And we're going to have you perform and knock them out, like as always,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we'll definitely try to keep up with your progress. And just like Jazz Matters, we always want to give you a platform
Right.
to do what you do. I think it is really, really important that young players have a platform to do what they do, because it's really, really rough in that genre. You see,
Mhm.
the genre is a little bit underserved, but at the same time, what I'm saying, if there's enough performers that can get to a platform, I think that it will build up. What I'm saying, your audiences will build, and the people that's listening to you, all that stuff will come together. Uh, what do you think right now? Like, are you planning on doing any kind of tours or anything like that?
I just want to get the album
Okay.
done. Yeah. So I of course I would love to, but
Mhm.
first, I want to do the album and I want to do it live in studio. I'm
Mhm.
thinking about doing a studio audience for it as well, at least for maybe one of the nights of recording. So I really want to make this a thing, and I want to make that the best thing possible. And then I'll see like what comes out of that. I'd love to tour on my own stuff, but that's not necessarily in the works right now.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Now on your new stuff, are you collaborating with anyone, or is it just you, the sole writer, or how's that?
I I'll probably collaborate with some of the musicians on my album. Some of the musicians I have planned for it, they're really
Mhm.
collaborative, and like I work really well with them. They're musicians I work with a lot.
Mhm.
Some people that I know from KSU, some people that I know from different organizations like in Macon and Middle Georgia. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be big, and I think it's gonna be cool. This is my first time orchestrating an album, orchestrating anything like this. So I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to that whole process.
Okay, well, like you got a lot of resources you can reach out to, and like Tyrone does a lot of production.
Oh yeah.
I was doing a lot of production at
Mhm.
once. There's a lot of people you can reach out to
Oh yeah.
help you out, and I think they would. I don't think they'd even hesitate. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Simply because, you know, you have to have a network of musicians that you can work with and you feel comfortable with,
Absolutely.
and you really looking at them for what they are able to bring to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It isn't all about how well their skills as far as the academics go,
Yeah.
but you know what you want to hear. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And
Yeah, I
that's the way
remember
you pick it.
hearing. I remember. I remember hearing like, yeah, you can be the best musician like on the planet, but if you're not easy to work with, or
Yeah.
if you're like not on time, if you don't have all the other components, like they're good, they're just gonna go on to the next guy
Oh
who may
yeah.
not be as good as you, but he's professional and he works well with people, and he's just, so that's
Yeah.
what I've always remembered. And the people that I can't like say their names because like everything's like not confirmed kind
Oh
of.
yeah. Don't do that.
But no, I'm saying the people that I want to work with.
Right.
So
Right. Right. Gotcha.
like, but the people that I have in mind, the people that I've written out, they definitely fit all the qualifications.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Cool, man.
hopefully you'll see some updates about what's going on. But I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Cool. And like I said, Jazz Matters is definitely looking to get you back and letting you take the stage and the command and deal with the audience the way we know you could deal with it. And yeah, we seen you. Yeah, you ain't got to hide. You know, we straight. You know.
Yeah, and
But
I want to say I do appreciate y'all. Like I've been working with y'all for a minute. I met you first maybe 2015-ish, and then over the last few years, like as I've been in school, y'all have called me to do certain performances and certain gigs. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to do that.
oh yeah, we can you know, we can see talent. We know it when we see it. Let's say it like that. And we want to expose it. That's the thing. We want to expose it, and we want to expose as many of the younger people to it, our platform, as we possibly can. And of course, you know, we are like a nonprofit organization, and if people want to know about us, they can always go to yesjazzmatters.org, and they can pretty much read up everything about what we're doing, what we're about, you know, and everything else. But Zach, man, it's been good talking to you, man. The time flies, man.
Yeah.
And let the people know exactly, you know, where they can get to you one more time.
Where you can get to me, you can actually go to my website too, zachwkeys.com, and that will direct you to my Instagram. My Instagram is where I put most of my content on. My Instagram, my YouTube. You can friend me on Facebook, Zach Wilson. The fundraiser for the album is still going strong. You can send money to me via Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. All of those are Zach W. Keys. And send it along with your email, and I'll send you the exclusive EP that I made. All of your contributions are going towards the completion of the album. It will be greatly appreciated.
Cool. And Vaughn, you know, we gotta, you know, the time always creeps up on us. So, you know, let's go ahead and let them know where we can get you, man.
Oh man, Jazz Beats Radio, the Jazz Beats Radio webpage, jazzbeatsradio.com. You can also reach me at on Instagram, Von Coulter. I'm also on Twitter at Von Coulter1. And let's see where else LinkedIn. In fact, I'm also on LinkedIn, and touch bases with me there. And you know, and voncoulter.fm.gmail.com is my direct email to get in touch with me. So you know, I try to spread myself very thin when it comes to social media, because this is you reach a lot of people out there, and so you know, I'm looking forward to also bringing this first time announcement out there. I'm going to open up my own website, and I love the title of this. It's called Ain't Nothing But Soul. So you know, it's basically about Black American culture and its impact on American society and the beauty of it, and its influences. So looking forward to putting that all together. And so, you know, y'all chime in, let me know what's going on, and thumbs up that that response there on this broadcast on YouTube. Thumbs up, and hit that like button. And we want as many people as we can get viewing what we do here on Jazz Matters.
Yes, and like I said, you can reach us at Jazz Matters. My mistake. You could say yes, Jazz Matters. I'm moving a little bit too fast. That's what it is. But anyway, you can reach us at yesjazzmatters.org. And from there, you can pretty much get in all of our business. You'll know exactly what we're about and what we're doing. And we also want to let everyone know that we do take donations, because we are a nonprofit organization. And we also, want your comments. We want you to like this program. And if you want to subscribe, that's even better. But hit the like button on the program and like us here. Jazz Matters. We're here with Zach Wilson, and it's been great, man. It's been great. So we're off now, but we'll see you next Monday with another program. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody, for trying.
Thank you.
All right.
Cool. All right, we're done now. That was cool. Appreciate it.